Good morning and welcome to the 2021 commencement ceremony for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences here at Montclair State University. Please remain in your places until the conclusion of the ceremony. We want you to enjoy this experience, so we also ask you to please silence all electronic devices. And now, will you please welcome the class of 2021 graduates from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Graduates, please rise as the academic processional will now begin. Ladies and gentlemen, we present the President of Montclair State University, the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and the Dean of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and University distinguished guests, faculty, and staff.
Welcome. Please be seated. I'm Peter Kingstone, Dean of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and it's my great pleasure to welcome to the podium the president who has led the remarkable growth and transformation of Montclair State during the past 23 years, Dr. Susan A. Cole.
Thank you, Dean Kingstone, and welcome graduates, guests, faculty, and staff to the 2021 undergraduate commencement exercises for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences at Montclair State University. Please rise for the national anthem, which will be sung by Lisbelkis Santana.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Be seated. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the university, it is my great pleasure to welcome our graduates and their families to this ceremony. I want to begin by thanking all of the faculty and staff who are here today, who have come to celebrate you and who worked so hard to make this day possible for you. Would all the faculty and staff on the platform, in the stands, on the sides, stand up, wave, make a big noise. Thank you. As we gather today, the world is at last beginning to emerge from what has been a catastrophic pandemic, and we stand together today with optimism on the threshold, hopefully, of better years to come. Throughout this past year, informed by experts in science and implementing rigorous safety protocols, we were able to maintain many campus activities with thousands of students continuing to live on campus, with many commuting students coming to campus to study. Our music students took over that Red Hawk parking deck for rehearsing and performing. Our dance students practiced in the outdoor quads. Classes in many disciplines were taught in carefully arranged classrooms and laboratories, as well as outdoors in tents and in the amphitheater. Our student athletes adjusted to complicated schedules of practice and games, and for many students, time with friends was found on benches on the campus, in outdoor eating tents, and around the fire pit at the rec center. Maintaining the intellectual life and sense of community of the university was very important to us, and together we made the necessary adjustment to a wide range of technology to teach, to learn, to meet, and to communicate. It was definitely not ideal, but it was, of course, absolutely necessary. All of us were hurt in some way by the disruptions to our lives, but I have marveled at your tenacity and resilience in the face of adversity, and I can tell you that your university could not be prouder of you and of what you have accomplished. You were determined not to let the trains or the pandemic keep you from reaching your goals. And today we celebrate your graduation as each of you takes your place of honor as a recipient of one of the 172,399 degrees granted by Montclair State over its 113-year history. But not all of your classmates, unfortunately, are with us today, and I would like us to pause and remember together fellow students whose lives were cut short over the past year and who will never have the chance to stand where you stand today. Let us remember together Olivia Morrow, Ziana Robinson, Timothy Roy, and Charles Storick. I would also like to acknowledge and send our collective best wishes to your classmates who were called away from their studies and their families in service to our country. Since the start of the pandemic, 65 students have served in the New Jersey National Guard, and today 12 of your fellow students are still in active service. They are Christopher Baird, Rebecca Dominic, Ataya Duncan Munnerlin, Richard Farla, Guillermo Gonzalez, Denzel Griffith, Ashley Johnson, Jonathan Moyano, Ryan Ram, Nicholas Ritter, Diego Tanaka, and Adrian Vargas. We thank those fellow Red Hawks for their service. As events of the last 15 months have shown, you are entering a world that has many important educational, economic, social, environmental, governmental, and public health issues in urgent need of attention. And today you join the next class of citizens prepared by your education to make a meaningful contribution to the hard work it takes to build a peaceful, prosperous, equitable, and just society. The role of public universities such as Montclair State is critical to providing the highest quality of higher education, not just for the lucky few, but to all those who aspire to be responsible and contributing citizens. You have had the privilege of that education, and many people worked hard to make that privilege possible for you, including your faculty and advisors at the university, your family and friends who are so proud of you today, your fellow citizens, many of whom you will never know whose taxes supported your education, and generous alumni and donors who gave back to support scholarships and make educational resources available to the university for you. Class of 2021, you are the second class that has been called by the media the class of COVID. But you have stood up against COVID, and remember always, you are not the virus. You are the cure. Now more than ever, the world needs the intelligence, optimism, and integrity that you can bring to the immense challenges we face as a society. Let me assure you, your education at Montclair State has prepared you for this moment. You are ready. You are ready. As you know, these are the last commencement ceremonies that I will preside over as president of Montclair State. So today, in a way, I graduate with you, and I feel privileged to do so. Thank you. Thank you. For the last 23 years, it has indeed been my honor to contribute my efforts to building the university that would enable students like you to earn your degrees, to walk across this stage, and then proceed to realize your dreams. So we shall leave this place together. And now I'd like to turn our ceremony over to Dean Kingstone.
Welcome, CHSS Class of 2021. It is so nice to see you and your loved ones in person. Before I start, I want to take a moment to introduce the people on stage who are here to celebrate you today with me. Let me start off by, from the Dean's office, Associate Dean Leslie Wilson and Associate Dean Jessica Brandt. In addition, we have our career advisor and your MC today, Jeff Poulos. We have our esteemed provost, who is also, to my sadness, retiring as well, Willard Gingrich. From the Department of Psychology, we have Yoav Arya, Chris King, Laura LaCosta. From the English Department, we have David Galiff, Jeff Gonzalez, and Naomi Liebler. And also in English, I'm the director of the Coach Institute for the Italian Experience in America, Mark Rotella. And last, but definitely not least, and I should tell you that I'm particularly pleased because I've gotten to know these two people a little bit, but I thought that they were just characters on a TV screen. Your student government president, Ernst Lozen. No, Ernst. Thank you. And your student government secretary, Paulette Gando Duenas. What a year it's been. Getting to this day took all your creativity, talent, hard work, and especially resilience. It's a magnificent achievement, and we're very proud of you. But I know you got a lot of help from your loved ones on the way. Some of them are here today in the stands. Some of them are watching you on video at home. Let's take a moment to thank them. So I want you to join me. I want you to look over to your loved ones or imagine them at home. And when I say go, I want you to shout out the names of the people who brought you to this day. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Thank you. Thank you very much. When I was a young man, not much older than you, I was in Brazil doing research for my PhD. At the time, Brazil was in crisis and chaos, and I wrote my supervisor describing what I was seeing and experiencing and expressing doubts that things would ever get better. And he wrote back and told me, never underestimate human beings' capacity to invent new solutions to the seemingly impossible problems of today. Now, since that time, Brazil rose out of chaos to become an example for the whole world on how to tackle social problems, only to fall back more recently into crisis and chaos all over again. For me, it's a reminder, life is not a straight line. It hits bumps, cracks, walls, hills, you name it. Life is a constant shifting pattern of things getting better, things getting harder, then things getting better again. You all know it, you lived it. People like to say college isn't the real world, but to get to this day, you've had to overcome so many challenges, including working 1, 2, or 3 jobs, or losing your jobs, caring for family members, managing financial concerns, and on top of that, keeping up with your studies. And as if that weren't enough, you had to deal with a pandemic, with all its attendant losses and sadness and complex feelings, not to mention hours and hours and hours and hours on Zoom. If that's not the real world, I don't know what is. You may not be aware of it, but this year has taught you one of the greatest lessons of life. In the immortal words of the British band Chumbawamba and their very popular song from the 1990s, I won't sing it, I apologize, I get knocked down, I get up again, you're never going to keep me down. That's right, someone's pumping their arms. All right, the rest of the song is about drinking alcohol, we'll forget that part, but as you move on from here, whatever bumps or hills life throws at you in years to come, whenever you're confronting seemingly impossible problems, whenever life knocks you down, you know how to get up again. And the resilience you develop to get you to this day is a quality you will take with you for the rest of your life. But your MSU experience is about more than just developing resilience. You are graduates of the humanities and social sciences. Regardless of your major, all of us in the humanities and social sciences are connected by our exploration of the fundamental questions of what it means to be human. Your training is about learning to see, hear, and understand each other across our many cultural borders and to look for our shared humanity. And that gives you a special mandate. I want to quote somebody, former President Woodrow Wilson, who over 100 years ago, speaking to a group of students just like you, said these words: "Do not forget why you are here. You are not here merely to prepare to make a living. You are here in order to enable the world to live more amply, with greater vision, with a finer spirit of hope and achievement. You are here to enrich the world, and you impoverish yourself if you forget the errand. We are living at a time when we are so divided and angry and facing seemingly impossible problems. So we look to you and your peers to draw on your creativity, your talent, your resilience, and your training in the questions of what it means to be human, and to go out and help build a more socially just and truly inclusive New Jersey, America, and the world. Once again, on behalf of all the faculty and staff of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, we congratulate you, we are deeply proud of you, and we are grateful to your loved ones, and we wish you the greatest success as you set out beyond Montclair State. I now want to introduce you to our advisory board esteemed speaker for this morning. This is my second year as the Dean of the College, and I've had many rewarding experiences, including particularly the opportunities I've had to meet and interact with some of you. A very close second great honor is the chance I've had to meet some of our wonderful alumni. People who've gone on from MSU to chart lives and careers of distinction and who make us proud to be part of this community. Our guest today is one of those people that I have been very, very honored and delighted to meet, Nancy Erica Smith. She is a partner here in Montclair at Smith Mullen. She graduated from Rutgers Law School in Newark in 1980. Since then, she's emerged as one of the leading lawyers in New Jersey with a commitment to the law as a tool of social change and social justice that has garnered her multiple recognitions, including, for example, being named Lawyer of the Year in 2012 by Best Lawyers, the nation's oldest and most respected peer-reviewed journal in the profession. Nancy's work has led to national prominence, with her commenting regularly on TV, including MSNBC, ABC, and CNN. The reason for her prominence is her sterling career fighting against civil rights violations, sexual harassment, and labor discrimination, including notable cases establishing the right of siblings of children who are HIV positive to attend public school, a host of cases confirming the state's commitment to eradicating discrimination based on pregnancy, disability, age, marital status, gender, and sexual orientation. And perhaps most famously, she is known for the fight against mandatory arbitration and sexual harassment in the Gretchen Carlson case that resulted in Roger Ailes being terminated from Fox News. That's right. She has been a member of a variety of boards of important legal associations, including the New Jersey Association for Justice, the New Jersey State Bar Association, and she still sits on the executive committee of the New Jersey State Bar Association Labor and Employment Law Committee. It is indeed my very great pleasure and honor to introduce you to today's esteemed speaker, Montclair State's very own Nancy Erica Smith.
Thank you, Dean. Sorry. Yes, exactly. It is such an honor to be at my alma mater to celebrate your accomplishments. I am a proud product of public education. I attended public schools in my hometown of Keyport, New Jersey, which in 1868 decided in our small town that public schools were open to all, regardless of race and religion. What a privilege I had to attend non-segregated schools in the 50s and 60s. After my dad died, my mom and I moved to Toms River, where I graduated from Toms River North. That's how I ended up at Ocean County College. Bruce Springsteen went there, but much to his parents' disappointment, he didn't graduate. Then I came here to MSU and then to Rutgers Law School. I've been a lawyer for 40 years, and I've met a lot of smart people. They aren't always the ones that tell me within 2 minutes of meeting them that they went to Stanford, Yale, Harvard, or Brown. In fact, when I have a case against a lawyer who starts out like that, I make sure I tell them I went to Ocean County College, Montclair State University, and Rutgers Law School, and then I beat them. Never let anybody let you buy into the idea that privilege equals accomplishment. It doesn't. In fact, the person who gave me the best advice and wisdom in my life had an 8th grade education. my mom. She grew up very poor in East Orange. When she was 18, her mom died. She raised her 4 young siblings, 13, 8, and 3 years old. And the principles she taught me, they live with me every single day. 1, she said this 1,000 times. If anyone else can do it, you can. Now, my professional basketball career didn't work out. I can still beat a lot of my kids and grandkids in horse, though. But that phrase was in my head when I wrote my first brief. That phrase was in my head when I did my first motion argument, when I argued the first time in the New Jersey Supreme Court, and when I tried my first case before a jury. If anyone else can do it, you can do it. Second, and when young people tell me they're nervous about going to law school, that they're afraid they're not smart enough, I tell them I know a lot of dumb lawyers. I know a lot of smart people that didn't go to law school. My mom's second words of wisdom, do your best in everything you do. And she meant it. If I made my bed and I made it sloppy, she called me out. And to this day, after 40 years, I never send out anything on a first draft, not even a letter. I edit it and I edit it until it's exactly my best work. Never settle for okay. 3, the most important lesson I learned from my mom wasn't told to me. I learned it from watching her. Before my dad died, my parents owned a liquor store next to a little butcher shop and grocery store. And many times in my life, I stood next to my mom when she asked the butcher to send a turkey and all the trimmings over to one family, or a roast beef over to another, or a ham and potatoes over to another. And she always said, do not say who sent this. I don't want the family to feel uncomfortable around me. She never forgot what it was like to worry about feeding her younger siblings. Now, we weren't rich. After my dad died, we moved to a trailer park. But taking care of your family and friends in your community can be done just by inviting somebody over for dinner. And I've never forgotten that. That's the lesson, actually, that brought me to my career as a lawyer. It was actually on the lawn of this college after a course in criminal justice, which is a really good name for the justice system because often it's criminal. Having heard my opinions in a class with a lot of police officers, a really cute guy in class told me that if I wanted to change the world, I was going to be a social worker. He said, if you want to change the world, go to law school. He said he was taking the LSAT in a couple weeks, and I should go too. I had never heard of the LSAT. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was being asked to go out on a date. He was cute. I said, sure. I got into law school. I got into Rutgers and Columbia. Rutgers was $1,200 a year. Columbia was $12,000 a year. I'm no dope. I went to Rutgers. It was great. So I went to law school literally not knowing what a plaintiff was and not understanding how everybody else in the class seemed to know that. But I did my best every day. I kept my mother's concern for others and the community in my heart. I believed her mantra, if anybody else can do it, you can do it. And I got to be a civil rights lawyer, the best possible profession for me I could have imagined. Every day I get to try to change the world. Every day I fight racism, misogyny, sexism, Islamophobia, xenophobia, and just plain hatred. Every day I get to fight bullies. And the best part, when I win, the bullies have to pay me. The final lesson from my mom that I want to share, and that I also learned from watching her, is to surround yourself with your family and friends and find joy in everyday life. I have 5 kids and 9 grandkids. One of my granddaughters is starting here in September. We celebrate every birthday, holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Easter, Passover, and Eid. and of course, graduations. So, thank you so much for it's such an honor to be at my alma mater here today. I really honor public education. And remember from my mom, always do your best, believe in yourself, try to make the world a better place, and celebrate life, especially today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Nancy. That was fabulous. And your granddaughter's starting. Excellent. I now call upon Provost Willard Gingrich as we begin the conferment of degrees.
President Cole, it is my privilege to report to you that the candidates here assembled, who have successfully completed the curricula offered by the College of Education of, I'm sorry, not that college, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences of Montclair State University, have been so certified by the university registrar, and they are recommended by the faculty to be awarded bachelor's degrees in recognition of their academic accomplishments. I would also note that a number of these candidates have also completed their certifications to teach. You will notice that some of our students have gold tassels on their mortarboards, signifying that they are graduating cum laude with honors, magna cum laude with high honors, and summa cum laude with highest honors. Will those undergraduates who are graduating with honors please rise, and the family, friends, and fellow students of these graduating students with honors also please rise. Your family, friends, and fellow students, join me in applauding your academic success. Thank you. You may be seated.
President Cole, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce the members of the 2021 graduating class. Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree please come forward to receive your individual acknowledgement? For health and safety reasons, we can't shake your hands this year, but we applaud your achievements.
Alexandra Barbara Desir. Joseph Alexander Gonzalez. Caitlin M. Bohr. Jordan Carmine Durno. Kelly Johanna Carmona. Amanda Jane Dwornikowski. Melissa Margaret Hawk. Willow J. Breyer. Emily Dorothy Ehrman. Ariana Cardenas. Dominique Alina Ceballero. Safa Al-Amrani. Melvin Singh. Sarah Mostafa. Catherine Ann Lau. Jill Sandra Goral. Gracie Catherine Erline. Catherine Elizabeth Downey. Alex Marguerite Gristy. Angelica Lynn Crossan. Heidi A. Wasong. Adriana Bakreski. Jillian Nicole Guerreri. Erica Wynn. Zachary Lawrence Fox. Jennifer Francisco. Amelie M. Gonzalez, Jasmine Jeralisha Fudge, Megan Michelle Rafferty, Kirsten Ray Whittemore, Savannah Marie Pizarro, Erin Grace Dewar, Priscilla Consamatam, Aurelia Gonzalez, Caitlin Ann Hernandez, Raven Aaliyah Dozier,
Daniel Barnes,
Kelly Elizabeth Falcon, Sarah Hassan, Brianna Alexis Colon, Fabiola de la Barra, Christian D. Benjamin, Joshua Perez, Aisha Aliyah Sabor, Megan Lynn Curry,
Rachel Perez,
Vanessa Tlatenshi, Kathy Alejandra Hara, Tana Salada, Julia J. Colasano, Donna Joy DeRitter, Desiree Denise Fortune, Sierra Dalashan Edwards, Ariani Pilarte, Michael J. Wilderotter, Samantha Corrales, Julianne Nicole Merlot, Samantha Lee Franco, Amy Grace Armaheiser, Christina Maria Fisher, Gabriella Christina Gentile, Derek Jacobson, Killen Charday Bennett, Esma Ribhi Dahlia, Mariah Gabrielle Curett, Melissa A. Ebert, Ashley Kimberly Cameo, Nisha Samir Choksi, Kenneth Martin Romaine, Javid Jokic, Lillian Rebecca Ferguson, Cindy Oriana Jimenez, Adam Brian Davis, Anna L. Cavallo, Andres F. Garcia, Gregory Franson, Melanie Valeria Angasaga, Angelina Bioletti, Anna Delfina Hilario, Sidra Ann Habel, Joycey Pamela Bologna, Leslie Jesus Camarillo Lopez, Paige Lee Hakimian, Joanne Lynn Emelianovitz, Melissa Ann Charnogurski, Cassie A. Falco, Judith Letty Hernandez, Diamond Imani Jordan, Samantha Michelle Chimento, Willie Keyshawn Justice Barr, Anasia Janae Johnson Green, Anis Samih Allen, Anna Paula Cuenca Dooley, Monica Corrine Dunkerson, Taylor Lynn Harrison, Luisa Gabriela Paz Rosal, Sabaris B. Cruz, Emily Lauren Bernal, Veronica Julian, Leslie Aguilar, Marilyn Del Carmen Gonzalez, Alexandra Kathleen Edwards, Samantha Coffer, Jacqueline Marie Ferrara, Venus Amarea Blackford,
Gabriela Toribio,
Kathleen Lynn Vitorino, Jayla Love Garcia, Denaya Samari Jeffries, Samantha Lopez, Adley M. Gonzalez, Tiffany Eileen Banks, Michaela Lee Muldoon, Tiffany Cabral,
Christina Dane Brown,
Michaela Elena Bland, Claire Elizabeth Jernigan, Gina Crescenzo, Mohammed Rashid Alawada, Stephen James Fowler,
keep going, keep.
Savannah Sky Cepeda, Samuel Fatih, Madison Ann Grabau, Luke Erickson Winicki, Evan Deakins, John A. O'Brien, Julissa Liseth Cardoza, Stephanie Andrea Eastman, Colette Marie Campanella, Rula Ramadan, Yushia Parada, Magdalene M. Nasser, Samantha Beverly Merritt,
Megan Ann Vitovic,
Lauren Michelle Lamantia, Angie Giselle De La Roca, Jamie Claire Patalot, Carrie Ann Nicola Glenn, Stephanie Nicole Garcia, Monique Ashley Davis, Sebastian Andres Flores, Lila Marie Hamadi, Cesar Modesto Negroni, Nia Jocelyn Jerome, Eli A. Perez, Alyssa Sophia Brady, Alexandra Francis Baumbush, Darius C. Ribot, Perla Yaciel Diaz, Caitlin Ashley Alvarez, Nicole Ferry, Courtney Sarah Dobkin, Julia Ann Kaplan, Michelle Albaran, Christina Chanel Smith, Brandon Jordy Carrera, Hope Elizabeth Ortiz, Jessica Franco, Maristel Baez, Natalie Campaverde, Cassandra Camille, Victoria Grace Bell,
Ashley Denise Pena,
Sarah Jean Jean-Philippe, Davina Leon George, Lean Rayed Kashashina.
Randy Carino Vaquero.
Rodney Stewart Flores.
Sorry about that.
Shannon Lee Burke. Alex Elliger.
Mine Kong.
Lua Majumbe. Taylor Marie Castelli. Charmaine Judge. Brittany Jocelyn Cadet. Rayshana Lashai Henderson. Victoria Rose DiFabrizio. Tiffany Acosta. Deniki J. Fowler. Whitney Darla Orlis. Fabiola Dort. Jasmine M. Drakeford. Tori Leah Brown. Ashley Marie Amarim. Jennifer Carvalho Bras. Brianna Marie Perez. Carolyn M. Martinez. Marlis J. Giordano. Larry Camarillo. Nicole Carranza. Samantha Alexis Malt. Davika Angelica Person. Lanita J. Hill. Precious Nwakego Ifarika.
Danae Lou Chavez.
Carla Cavallo Gomez. Jennifer Madupe Yetunde James.
Caroline Elizabeth Gutierrez.
Juliana Barnhill. Sophia Abuzid. Taylor Drake. Victoria P. Bastidas. Alexis Sienna Gunning Mackey. Tristan Patrick James I. Sabine Christine Duarte. Sarah Stern. Shania Selena Carroll. Khadija Aliyah Harakson.
Cynthia Mazel Harrigan.
Harley Y. Cho.
Will all the candidates for the bachelor's degree please rise? Will the families of the bachelor's degree candidates please rise with your graduates? President Cole, I am pleased to present the candidates. President Cole, I am pleased to present the candidates who have qualified for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Thank you, Dean Kingstone. So, are you ready? You sure you're ready? All right, then. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of New Jersey and the Board of Trustees of Montclair State University, and in recognition of your achievement in fulfilling the curricula prescribed, I confer upon you, as earned, the designated bachelor's degree with all the rights, duties, privileges, and immunities thereunto appertaining, of which the diploma is the written witness. Congratulations, graduates. Provost Gingrich, would you please join me and conduct the undergraduate tassel ceremony? When the provost signals with the mace, you will move your tassel from the right side to the left side of your mortarboard. Ready? And now it's official. Congratulations, graduates. Please be seated. This concludes the Montclair State commencement exercises for this section of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. I would ask everyone to remain seated until the recessional is complete. Graduates, when it's time to recess, please follow the staff instructions as you exit Sprague Field. To our guests, to our family members, thank you so much for sharing this ceremony with us. We hope that it is a day of joy for you and that the joy goes on forever and ever. It was just wonderful to have you with us, and we were glad that we were able to do it. Graduates, congratulations.